Okay. Hello. We are live. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. We're just going to be waiting a little bit more for a few more people to join, and then we're going to get started. Just so I know, can you guys hear me well? Can you just comment in the chat if you can, if my voice is clear? There should be a chat on your right side on YouTube, or maybe underneath on your mobile, depending on where you watch it. Just let me know if you're able to see this, if you can hear me well. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hello, hello. There seems to be. Can you hear me well? Okay. All good. Okay. Great. Awesome. Good to see. I recognize some of your names here. That's nice. Hugo. Okay, cool. Very nice. Okay. So I just wanted to start with just to get a bit more, just get a little bit warmed up here for what we're gonna be doing today. Just wanted to ask you guys if you could just let me know where you are from. Just comment in the chat there. Curious where everyone is from. Oh, I see Switzerland, California. Okay. Okay, nice. Holland. That's pretty close. I am right now in Spain, in Valencia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Valencia. It's pretty close to Barcelona, where I lived before, but now I no longer live there. I live in Valencia. It's a bit more calm here. So actually, you can even meditate like outdoors on a bench. There's lots of trees and nature and silence. So I can put on my headphones and I can just kind of like relax and just meditate on a park bench. That was not possible to do in Barcelona because there's just so much noise and people everywhere and traffic. So, what I would like to do right now, just to do like a really small, quick little meditation before we get started. So, if you guys could just close your eyes, and I'm going to join you into this meditation. If you're listening to this on headphones, even better. If not, don't worry. It's okay. It's not crucial that you have headphones. So just close your eyes and just take a deep breath in. And I just want you to just take a moment and let go of potentially the stress from your day and everything else that might be going on in your life right now. And just feel grounded in this moment. Just be present with this moment, with everybody that's on this live today, and with me as well. Just relax into it. Just take a moment for yourself. Focus your attention inwards. And now I want you to ask yourself this question. Like, if you feel into your heart space, feel those emotions there. And when I say the word astral projection, what comes to your mind? Just take a mental note. When I say the word spirit guides, where I say the word accessing different levels of reality beyond this physical dimension. Experiencing your essence, your spiritual essence, who you are and what you are beyond this physical body and this physical life. Do you feel some sort of tingling sensation inside of you that's like, yes, yes, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to explore myself. I want to explore this reality construct that we're in and beyond. I want to understand why I'm here. I want to understand where I'm from and where I'm going. Now, I've spoken with enough of you to know that this is something you guys are longing for deep inside. There is this longing to experience this, to have these experiences, to explore yourself and the world around you. And I know that not only because I've spoken to you, but because I've had the same desire since the moment I heard about this amazing practice of astral projection. Now take a deep breath in and breathe out. Just let go, and you can open your eyes when you are ready. So the question on the screen is, why astral projection, right? And I think that this is where it starts for everybody. We need to ask ourselves why, because we need to know what we're going to spend our time doing for the next few months. And when it's hard, when you're trying and it doesn't work, or when you have to wake up really early in the morning to do the practice and you have doubts, we need to know why. Because if you have a strong why, then you're going to be able to measure the why with the other maybe limiting belief that comes in there, like, oh, maybe I'm not going to be able to do it, it's difficult, whatever that is. And the why needs to be so strong that it always beats the other voice that's saying, oh, it's difficult, it's hard, oh. It needs to beat that voice, because if it does, and if the desire is strong enough, you will be able to keep going forward every single time. Even if it's difficult, you will be able to keep going forward. Now, I know for most of you, this is a very strong calling. It's something that you have inside of you that's just, it's like a seed that has been opened, that's like calling you to get to this, to focus on this practice and have these experiences. Even when you're like completely busy with life and like other things happen, in the back of your mind, this is still there, still like, I still want to do that astral projection thing. I need to make time for it. I need to get myself sorted. I need to go and see what Florentin is up to and see if I can learn something from him. So I know that desire is there, and I know it's strong. And I'm curious if you could be so kind and just comment in the field, in the chat. What is it that calls you to this practice? What do you desire with this practice? What do you feel it's calling you to do this? I'm going to give you a little moment to do so. I see Bob has written truth here. Yeah, yeah, Bob. Looking for truth. I think that's something that we all have in common. Everybody that comes to astral projection practice, the astral projection practice, is looking for truth. We're like, what's going on? We just popped up here like out of nowhere, and we're like, where are we? What's going on here? And everyone else just seems to take it for granted. Like, yeah, this is how it is. And and then there's some books as well that we can read about religion and stuff, but is it really enough? Like, does it really give you enough of an answer? And I think for us, it's a no, it doesn't. It's not enough to just read about it. We actually want to experience it and see what's beyond this physical world and what we are beyond this physical world. To heal and remember who I am, John says. Hugo says it's a feeling. Loki, freedom, higher self. Yeah. To see my wife in the afterlife. Yeah, it's definitely possible, Robin, because we know, because we had many students that have done this. And yeah, would like to consciously initiate astral projection to understand consciously my parallel lives and their connections to my 3D. Yeah. So all of these things are really connected. We're all kind of talking about the same thing. We want more understanding, and we don't want it just through information, but we want it through our own experiences. And I think that's what differentiates astral projection to anything else out there. That's like, this is like the way to have your direct experience with the truth. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I think we're all on the same page here. That's awesome. So I know that now we've started this new community, Soul Guides Free, and I know that there's going to be a few of you that are like my past students. There are a few of you that are my new students, and a few of you that are completely new to all of what I'm doing, and probably doesn't even know like who I am and why you should listen to me. So I want to just quickly give you my story, because I think it kind of speaks to the importance of my work and why I'm doing this. And I was always interested in this paranormal things and all that kind of stuff. And I was always looking for more information. Um, I wasn't always spiritual, but I was always looking to understand how things work. From an early age, I would break things apart and trying to figure out why the cassette band player was playing music, why everything was working the way it was. I was like trying to figure things out. So I broke everything in the first few years. And then after some time, I started to understand how things worked. And I was able to put them back again, and I was able to repair pretty much anything in the house. I was really good at all the technical stuff. And then, as I grew up, as I grew older, I became really interested in movie making, because I saw that with movies, you can create experiences for people. And there was a lot of technology there. And, movies like The Matrix really inspired me to start working with Hollywood movies, especially. So I went on a journey of, many years of studying, and then also started working with Hollywood movies. I worked on movies like Iron Man 2, Superman, Man of Steel, and many other movies like that were like really difficult projects to work on. And it was also super cool to work on, which was my dream at the time, to work on Hollywood movies, to work on big blockbuster movies. And if you search for my name, you'll probably find me in the end credits in many of these movies. And yeah, that was my life for about 10 years of my life. It was all about making movies. And at the same time, on my spare time, I would also research deeper into spirituality. And I would have, go to Peru and have ayahuasca journeys. I would go to different retreats and try different things. And, I explored pretty much all psychedelics there's out there. And I learned different things from different substances. But I kept hearing the same story from people. I kept hearing that there was a way to access these other realities without taking anything, without having to take any mushrooms or anything. And I was like, oh, that sounds very interesting, because these psychedelics, they're really strong, and you cannot do them every day. They're like, they're really strong. So you have to kind of take it slow. And you can also have a very intense bad trip as well. And once you're in the trip, there's no way out for at least 6 hours. So I was really curious to learn more about this other stuff that you could actually do without having to take anything. And I just followed the rabbit hole, and I eventually found different retreats and workshops that was teaching specifically astral projection. And I first went to a workshop by Falcon Achemesis, which I will talk about more about soon. But he did some of these very good workshops in UK and London, and he would just like rent a big house on the countryside, and we would go to this retreat and learn about how to actually do this thing. And it sounded really cool, but in the beginning I was a little bit skeptic. I wasn't sure if I really believed in all of this stuff, and I wasn't sure if I could do it. I had a limiting belief that I probably couldn't do it because I wasn't I never saw images in my mind's eye when I meditated, or I couldn't see auras or these kind of things. So I didn't think anything's going to happen. But to my surprise, one of the nights it happened, and we had a mission in this retreat. We're supposed to go out of body and meet the other people that are also practicing out of body in the living room, and then we're supposed to exchange passwords. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then 3 people in the workshop managed to do so. And I think that was one of the things that helped me with my mindset, because when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, so this is actually possible. Wow, okay. So if that's possible for them, then maybe it's possible for me too. So then, I became a bit more confident. I gave it a proper try. And I remember the first thing that ever happened to me that I will never forget it. For this first experience, I was wearing this eye mask, and we're doing the practice. And this eye mask is very thick. I mean, sorry, you cannot see anything for this. Like you can look at the sun, and you will not be able to see anything. And as we are in the practice, and the reason we're using this is because if you ever see through this, or if you ever see anything, that's a sign. And we're going to talk more about it soon. So I was doing this meditation, I had the soundtracks on, I was getting into the state and everything. And suddenly I am seeing my room that I'm in. And I'm seeing it as if I am seeing it like this, like as if my eyes are open and I'm looking around the room. Everything is crystal clear. And I'm like, wait, I know I'm wearing this mask. How can I see the room? And at the same time, as I was seeing the room, like crystal clear, I could also hear these crystal clear sounds of nature. So this house we were in was like on the countryside in the middle of nowhere. There was no people. It was completely quiet inside the house, but I could hear the sounds of a river creaking. I could hear birds. I could hear the wind in the trees, like these very nuanced sounds that was impossible to hear from the room that I was practicing in. I could hear them so crystal clear. And I became very excited, of course, like, oh my God, I'm hearing something, I'm seeing this, like, and of course, the more excited you get when you have these experiences, when you get into this state we're going to talk about, of course, the experience started to fade away, and the blackness of the mask faded back in, and suddenly I could no longer see anything, and I had to take the mask off, and then I could see exactly what I could see with the mask. I could see without the mask, and I was like, "Holy shit, this stuff is real!" Because now I had an experience that I could not explain with my rational mind, because I could see without my eyes. And these experiences are so meaningful, because that's the moment where there's like this light switch in your mind that just goes, "Holy shit, reality is not what I thought it was." We are able to do much more things than we thought was possible. So when that happened, and then of course the following experiences afterwards, I kept practicing on my own at home. Had more experiences, and more interesting things happen. I started to connect with my spirit guides, and I started to have experiences, and I started to become familiar with the process. And when at the same time when that happened, I realized that this was so important that I couldn't keep it to myself, and also that I couldn't continue spending my time with working with Hollywood movies, entertainment for people, and instead I wanted to dedicate myself to this work. And so I gave up everything, my fame, Hollywood, all that stuff, all the profitable projects that I could have, and all that stuff, to pursue something that was really abstract, really unknown. And I had no idea if anybody else would even be interested in learning this in the beginning. I was like, I don't know. I am interested in this, but I don't know if other people are. But my guides were essentially motivating me in different ways through different signs and different communication that we had, that I should focus on doing this work. So I just trusted that, and I just kept going forward. And I spent over the last decade, learning this, and also coming up with new techniques and new technology and different ways to make it much more powerful, because the tools that I was using, all the stuff that I was using at that time, it wasn't giving me enough results. There was things that wasn't really working. Like you probably will recognize this. Like a lot of times in the beginning, I would practice. And so I have this graph here just to show you the different brainwave states. So up here, we are fully awake. And down here, we are asleep in delta. And then above, that's where you really want to get to have alibi experiences. Now, to get there, a lot of times what happened in the beginning for me was that I would just fall asleep. And that's it, game over. And that was frustrating. And I'm sure many of you guys have been there, and you might be there right now where you fall asleep. And then eventually, I got to the next stage, which was I was now able to keep myself awake for hours. I wasn't falling asleep anymore, but still nothing was really happening. Sometimes it was happening, but it wasn't happening consistently. And so I had to come up with different ways, different techniques, and using my background from my Hollywood movie tech side kind of thinking, rational thinking, very structured thinking, I was able to come up with a lot of tools and systems that would help me to be able to fine tune my practice, and also fine tune the technology to have a consistent success with the practice. Because I liked when things work. And I'm sure you guys like when things work too. So eventually I created more and more stuff, and then I started also teaching it to other people, and they were having success with it. And I just kept developing it more and more, and just kept building more stuff, and this has been an ongoing thing. I'm still doing that. I'm still coming up with new ways and better solutions and all that, because the vision really for what we're doing, and what I want you to invite you to be a part of, is to help us expand this. Really kind of, I'm looking at this astral projection thing as a way for us to be able to find out who we are, what we are doing here as a species. So we have our personal desires with the practice, but I think on a collective level, this could help us as a species to really tap into a deeper aspect of ourselves, learn about a deeper aspect of ourselves, and connect deeper with ourselves and nature, the universe, and not get lost into the technology side of things where we're going right now with AI, and potentially start implanting things in our bodies and our brains so that we can have different abilities, which we already have and possess naturally. And I think that's a very dangerous route, the whole AI stuff. I love it, but the whole idea of becoming, merging with AI, that future version is not very enlightened. I say it like that. I think what we need to do is to tap into our spiritual abilities, and we have a lot of abilities that we just don't know about, or we know about them, we don't know how to access them, and nobody's really teaching it. And we are here to teach you this stuff, and we also want you to be a part of the journey of discovering this within yourself and helping other people discovering this as well. So it's kind of like a movement. a movement of going within to be able to go without or go out and bring that information back to the collective. Like, we are truth seekers. We go out there to gather information, to bring it back here, to enlighten the collective consciousness, to inspire and to teach the collective consciousness of what you've been finding out there about yourself or about us. So together we can gather information from all different places, because the thing is, nobody has all the answers. I certainly do not have all the answers for you. If you ask me a bunch of deep questions about the universe, I might have some answers, but I will not have all the answers. There's so much out there that we need to explore, and it's something that we need to do together. Like, we need to partner up, team up in this Soul Guides communities that I've created to start having these astral exploration sessions and come back with information and share that with the collective, share that with the community, so that we can learn together, we can grow and learn together. This is kind of the core of what we're really about and what we really want to do, and why we are also so passionate about doing this, because I truly believe that this is the next step in our human evolution. It's to really become aware of this deeper aspect of ourselves that we are, for the most part, disconnected to on a day-to-day basis now in the modern society. So how do we do that? How do we get into how do we have astral projections? What do we need to do in order to tap into this amazing power that we have? So we need to learn. This is what the astral projection practice is mostly about itself. It's to learn how to get into the right state. And as I mentioned a little bit before, the right state is when we get into the theta state, this is something that happens on the borderline between awake and asleep. It's just above sleep. And the number one thing that happens with most people is that either they're too awake, they're hovering somewhere around here, trying for hours to get deeper or to get into the right state. And people try different methods, like or different techniques, let's call them, like the rope technique, climbing different ropes, and they try maybe visualizing different things, but they're doing it up here, and nothing happens when you are in this state. You need to get yourself deep enough for all of these other techniques to work. Climbing a rope will work, but you have to be here. You cannot do it here. Here, nothing happens. Here, something will definitely happen. And we need to learn how to get there, and there's different ways of getting there. There is the direct method, which you guys are familiar with, when we are getting from being awake, we're meditating yourself into that deep state, that we get into the theta and project from there. That's the direct method, so through meditation. Then there is the semi-indirect method, which your starting point is you are asleep, and then you want to wake up a little bit to get into that state. And this is something that you can do from your bedroom when you're sleeping. The moment that you're waking up in the middle of the night, if you lay still, you can be in that state. If you lay still and just kind of don't wake up too much, relax, you can be in that state, and you can project from there. The final technique as well, which is the indirect method, the one that we do through transitioning from a lucid dream to an astral projection. This is also the method that I've shared with you for free in the Soul Guides free community. This is a method that helps you to become aware in a dream that you're dreaming, so you can transition to an astral projection. Now, I would say that this method is not the strongest method. It's not the one you can rely on. It's a method that will help you to become lucid in your dreams, and it's a method that helps you to be more lucid in general. So it's super important to learn that method, because it helps you with the other methods too. It's like going to the gym for an astral projector. The more reality checks you do, the more you're aware of your environment, what dimension you're in, the more you're asking yourself these questions. Am I dreaming? The more you're kind of skeptic with your environment, the more you're going to bring that type of awareness with you in the other methods as well. And really, the other methods, the direct and the semi-direct method, are the methods that you really want to rely on, because those are the ones that you can actually have experiences immediately. And so how do we do that with these methods? Because one of the problems with them, if you just lay down and try to do this without any help, any technology, and I tried in the beginning, you most likely going to fall asleep. Nothing's really going to happen, because you're programmed since early childhood that the moment you lay down in a bed, you go to sleep. So this is something completely new for you. So there's a training, there's a bit of a practice that needs to take place to kind of create new neurons in your mind that's kind of teaching you that you don't want to go to sleep. You just want to get deep enough, but not fall asleep. Now, this is hard to do without any technology. So that's why we have created these soundtracks that help you to get into this state. And there's binaural beats in the soundtracks, and there's also a bunch of other stuff that helps you get into that state and also keep you there. And if you fall asleep, it brings you back up again in awareness. And that's for the direct method. For the semi-indirect, semi-indirect, we have soundtracks that you go to sleep with, and then my voice will wake you up. And when it tell you what you need to do upon awakening from sleep. So you wake up from sleep, you're a little bit groggy, but my voice is kind of telling you what to do. And then you're able to get into that state and then project from there. So when I say project from there, what you have to do, I know there's a range of different people on this live right now. Some people are complete beginners. Some people might be more experienced. So just so I cover everything, when I say project from there, I mean exit your body. I mean you are in the right state, because you would know, because you're going to get some sensations. When you get to the right state, you will either get vibrations, you might see very visual things, you might hear things, and you can project. You can exit your body when you have that experience. When you start feeling these non-physical sensations, at that point you can perform an exit technique, and you can exit your body and start your exploration session. What I said right now, doing these steps, I can tell you now that it's not that hard. Some of you think it's hard. It's not that hard. What's more hard is to be consistent, is to be disciplined with the practice, is to show up for the practice on a daily basis or every second day, multiple times a week. That's more hard. And that's where the key lies in. It's the consistency. It's like, even if it didn't work last night, you do it again. And it's also about enjoying the process, not getting frustrated with yourself because it didn't happen last night. Become very familiar with the practice and enjoy the practice. Enjoy that state that you're in. When you're just in silence, you're just with yourself. You want to fall in love with the practice. So the more you fall in love with the practice, the more you're able to enjoy the practice, the more you can practice. And the more you practice, you start getting better and better at this thing that you're doing. And really what you're doing is self-experimentation. This is what I want to talk about, because this workshop is really about 100%, how to reach 100% success rate with the astral projection practice. You cannot reach 100% success rate with this practice if you don't become your own scientist and self-experiment with yourself with this practice. So what I mean by that is essentially you want to look at this practice as an experiment that you're doing with yourself. And you want to put your scientist hat on and just always look at the practice as this experiment that they've done. And then at the end of the practice, maybe when you wake up from the practice, you want to take note of what's happened. Did you get into this state? Were you maybe too awake? Or maybe did you fall asleep? Where were you on this scale? You need to know. And you need to also analyze afterwards what you can do differently so that you get closer to that state. And the way we do that is by essentially saving or journaling down all the different details. Now, in our program, in this Soul Guides Premium, where we have all the tools and everything, we also have what I call a projection blueprint system. And we have these tracking journals where we save everything we've done with the practice. So when we come out of a practice session, we fill in these tracking journals so that we know exactly what we've done. Have we been waking up in the morning at 6 in the morning every day, or was it at 5? Or did we go to sleep at 12 or at 10? Did we stay up for 5 minutes or 10 minutes before we started practice? Did we have something to eat? Did we have some supplements to eat? Did we do it in the bedroom, or did we like do it in the sofa in the living room? Like, where did we do the practice? How did we do the practice? Which method did we use? Which soundtrack, which technique? Like, there's so many details to this practice. And what happens is most people don't think about it in a scientific way. They just kind of like try different things, go on YouTube, try some new soundtrack, put them on. Okay, lie there. Nothing happened. Oh well, I guess I'll try again tomorrow. Try again tomorrow. Nothing happened. You need to analyze everything. You need to really look at every single practice, just like a scientist will be obsessed about their experiment. And every single ingredient that goes into the experiment, you need to track, you need to remember, because a week from now, you're not going to remember what time you went to sleep on a Tuesday last week when you practiced, or what method you use, or what technique you use. You're not going to remember that. So what happens is you're going to repeat the same mistakes again, and you're not going to progress with your practice. Now, if you do track everything, if you do save all the different details, and now we have a whole system for that, which asks you all the questions so that you know exactly what to track. But you can still do that on your own if you decide to do it on your own. But you need to track everything. And once you track everything, then you start to see what's working and you start to see what's not working. And then you can focus more on what's working and remove all the stuff that isn't working. And there's a lot of stuff that isn't working for people. So, and this is because everybody's different. So you might watch a YouTube video saying that the guy says, hey, get out of body tonight with this awesome method, 3 steps. And you try it and it didn't work for you. You need to know why it didn't work for you. You need to know how this whole practice works, how the technology of this, like how your body works, how your mind works, so that you can start creating what I like to call a projection blueprint, which is essentially a blueprint of the ingredients of all the things that you need to do to have a projection. And this is what I did first for myself. I developed my own projection blueprint. I had a very good awareness of exactly what times I need to go to sleep, when I have to wake up, how long I have to stay up for, which method, which position. Like, all of that was super clear. And I was able to just repeat the same thing because I knew it was working, and then it will just work consistently. And that's when you reach a high success rate. And you cannot do it if you don't track things down, if you don't take notes, if you just kind of practice and you're just all over the place and you don't look at this in an analytical way, you're not going to be able to fine tune the practice, and your success rate will be very like this. Sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't. And the worst thing is that you don't know why sometimes it doesn't work. And that gets frustrating. And then you start feeling bad about yourself, and you start to kind of maybe, think negative thoughts and stuff. So for that not to happen, we want you to understand how the practice works. And so that's what we focus a lot in the program that I'm teaching. Is like teaching you exactly how to look at all of these different ingredients and how they work, so that you can understand what you need to do in order to get closer to this state. Is it that you need to stay up longer at night, or is it maybe that you need to wake up earlier? Like, what is it that's going to get you there? And it's different for different people. Some people are light sleepers and some people are deep sleepers. And also everything in between. So something that works for someone is not necessarily going to work for the other person. So through experimentation, you find out what works for you. There are some general things that we know across the board is going to work for everybody. Like, for example, do it in the morning. Do not do it at night. At night, you're going to go straight into deep sleep and you're going to lose yourself. So do it in the morning after a few hours of sleep. That's the best time. That's one of those key things that work for everybody, more or less. And then there's a bunch of other things that are very personal. And that's why learning this practice on your own is difficult, because when you try these different things that people have told you on YouTube to try, and it doesn't work, you don't know what's wrong. You don't know if it's something that you're doing wrong. You don't know if the method isn't for you. Like, you don't know where the problem is. That's why we offer in our Soul Guides Premium the coaching, where you can actually talk to us, and we can help you and find out, like, what is it that you're doing? You're doing this? Oh, no, stop doing that. You have to do like this. This is going to work for you, because you are different to John and Michael and, Elizabeth. You're going to be different. So it needs to be a very personalized approach to this. And that's one of the things that we've focused on for the longest time, to really help people have these experiences. Now, I want to do a question and answer at the end as well, where you guys can ask questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. And before we go there, I just want to share with you guys what our Soul Guides Premium is about, because I know a lot of you guys are not fully on board with what's there. And I wrote here, it's more effective than Mind Valley, kind of like a joke. But the thing with this new platform that I'm so excited to share with you guys is that, first of all, you no longer have to join us and pay $2,000 to learn this. You can learn this on a small subscription fee. The subscription fee right now is actually lower than Mind Valley's subscription fee. Now, the biggest value in this Soul Guides community right now is that you get coaching. You get a person talking to you, me, and also my coach Ryan, and also Falcon Achemesis, which at the beginning of this webinar I was talking about. This is the guy that showed me astral projection 10 years ago. He's on this platform as well, and he's going to be teaching you. And I am so excited to show you guys. If you haven't met him before, if you haven't watched his content, you're in for a treat. He's going to be very inspiring, and this is something that you're going to have access on this platform. And I wanted to take just to show you a little bit what it looks like inside. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Will it work? Yes, that is working. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, what you're looking at right now is actually we have a lot of testimonials that you can watch later, with lots of people that have been through our program, and they've had lots of different experiences, lots of success. We've helped people heal from different diseases and connect with their loved ones and everything in between. And really, our program has only 5 stars on Trustpilot. And why is that? Well, it's because we really, really care about our students, and we really want you to succeed. We don't just throw a bunch of information at you and say, hey, good luck. We really want to help you have these experiences, because this is important for us. And so in the premium, when you access this, first of all, you get access to our full program. So this is where you're going to be able to learn the semi-indirect method and the direct method. And here you're going to have all the soundtracks that you need. You're going to have all the tracking tools, this projection blueprint I was talking about, like all of that will be in there. Like essentially all the tools you can possibly need in order to have experiences will be in this classroom. So you can watch it over and over again if you want to. You can follow the step. Everything is structured in a step-by-step fashion so that you just follow the steps. And I know that I heard from most of my students that they're very happy with the structure because they finally managed to understand how this stuff works, and they are able to follow something. It's like easy to follow a step-by-step system. You don't have to create the wheel yourself. You can just follow a system that has worked and will work for you as well. So you're able to consume that content in the classroom to learn, and all the tools to meditate and everything you need in here. And then in the calendar, this is where you will access our coaching sessions. And so every week we have multiple coaching sessions like this one. This is a indirect method coaching session. And then we have direct method coaching sessions. And then we have also these special events that I'm doing where we work on healing, for example. And healing is super important with this practice. Like, you cannot expect yourself going to some very beautiful high astral planes with angels and, beautiful music and all that if you're holding on to a bunch of trauma, negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, fears, like all that kind of stuff needs to be dealt with. And so we work on healing these kind of things. We shift you from those limiting beliefs or different mindsets that you might be in to a state where you actually are more open and you can let go of some of that trauma, some of that baggage that you're holding on to. And we do it through these events, which we want to do multiple versions of this. And we also do it through our hypnotherapists that are also on the platform that you can book sessions with. And I'm going to be doing all kinds of events. This week I did a velo technique event, which teaches you how to evoke the vibrational state. That was really awesome. I'm going to be doing these sessions where I'm going to guide you through the practice. I'm going to put your headphones on. I'm going to guide you with my voice, telling you what to do, what you feel, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be here. So you can expect being able to join coaching sessions on a weekly basis and also special events on a weekly basis with me, my team, and of course, Falcon Achemesis, which, by the way, is doing an event on the 12th of September. And that's him. Though you don't want to miss this. This is going to be awesome. And so this is where you go to get help, because yes, you can follow step by step how to do things, but what happens when it doesn't work? Where do you go? Who do you talk to? Well, you can come and talk to us and we can help you. You can say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, change this, don't do this. Then you can go on and you can focus more on progressing with your practice instead of being frustrated. Now, finally, as well, what's also in this community is, of course, the community. Don't overlook this. This is super important because here you can connect with me and Falcon and everyone else that's going to be in this community, and we can help each other. We can share. This is going to be. There's going to be so many things happening here, but we're going to do different games and different things. You want to report your successes here. Like here, we have some people that's reporting their success, how they've had different experiences, and we want to do this because you know how difficult this can be, and you know how difficult it is to communicate with other people about this. No one understands astral projection. It's hard to find like-minded people that actually know what this stuff is and doesn't think you're crazy when you talk about it. This community is very supportive and really good for that, because in this community there's going to be beginners, but also a lot of people that have been doing it for quite some time, maybe months, maybe years. My old students are in here. There's a bunch of people in here that can help you and support you on your journey, and you can discuss, you can help each other out. And also you can go on astral missions together. Maybe you plan to go to see different places together. When you get there, when you're able to get about on a regular basis, you can then start going on astral missions together or other things like that, which I think is super exciting. And I want to see you guys doing that in the community. Now, finally, that I also wanted to say about this is that we are creating an archive here where every single coaching session, every single event like this, like all the events that we're doing, they will be transcribed, and you can access the recording afterwards. Not only can you access it, but you can actually look at the summary of the recording, like say this one, and you can read through here and see, oh, I want to see what Florentin said here, how to reach the vibrational state. You can click on that and it will take you straight to the coaching session where I was talking about it at the point in time on the video where I was talking about that. So you don't have to look through the whole video. You can just play it from that very moment. And this means that you can search through up here at the search bar. You can search for stuff like, let's say you search for spirit guide. You'll be able to find all the different coaching sessions or events where we said the word spirit guide. You can watch that specific snippet from that video to learn more about spirit guide. So we're building an archive of all the most awesome information about this here, so that you don't have to go around anywhere else. You can just go here to find your information, to find your answer to that burning question that you have about your practice, so that you can just get out of the body easier, quicker, more effective. All right. So that's what I want to show you. And I also want to show you one more thing about this. The price, like I said before, right now it's only $46. It's nothing. And you, this will go up. It will probably go up to 97. But right now it's pretty low, and you can join. And if you decide that you want to unsubscribe at any point, you can do so. There's no commitment. So you can unsubscribe at any time, and you can come back at any time. And also, there's a 100% money back guarantee. So if you are, if you within 7 days, if you decide that you don't want to be a part of this, come back to us 7 days and we give you back your money. No problem. So it's very easy to join this. We made it, the barrier is so low that everybody can now join. Don't have to pay thousands of euros to enter this. So really, we made it accessible for everybody, because we really want people to be able to join this and be able to join this movement. And that's how I want you to see this. It's like you are investing in yourself with your spiritual practice, and you're also investing in the astral projection movement. So don't think about how much can I get, and how can I pay as little as possible and get as much as possible. Think about it like this: all your money that you pay into this goes to a platform that is actively working together with everybody else to bring this to the forefront of spiritual development, of consciousness evolution, of expanding our collective consciousness. So when you're investing in this, you're not just investing in yourself, you're investing in helping us collectively to be able to reach these goals, to be able to teach enough people about this. Because at the moment, nobody really knows about it still. It's still very, very nuanced. We want to teach way more people. We want the whole world to know about this. And we want the people to start tapping into who they really are. If you want to be a part of that movement, then investing in this is like donating money to helping this mission come to fruition. So you're doing two things. You're investing in yourself, and you're also investing in this awesome, noble thing that we're working on. And I also want to say that if you do join today, after this workshop, I will also give you a bonus. And so in the platform, there is in the classroom section, this thing here. I did a direct method workshop for the Astral Academy with Jade Shaw a few months ago. It turned out to be really awesome. And she messaged me afterwards saying that it was the best direct method workshop she's ever seen in her life. I'm going to give access for free to that as well if you join today after this workshop. I'll just unlock it, and you're going to get access to that one as well. So that's that. Just want to share that with you, to just motivate you to not think about it too much and just join, pull the trigger. Especially now that the investment is so low, just go for it. Great. Now, I want to take some questions and answers. So if you have any questions, please just post them in the chat. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm also gonna, I'm just gonna post the link as well so you guys can easily find it. Copy. Okay. Here you go. That's the link to join the premium right now. I pinned it at the top so you guys can see it. Let's see here. What questions do we have? So all the students that have, like, I can see that some of you are in the premium already. I would like to take these last minutes of this webinar to spend on answering questions for the people that are not in the premium that might have questions about the premium. You guys are in the premium. You have access to coaching and also to other live events that you guys can ask all the questions there. Okay, so will that session also be unlocked for those that already subscribed? Okay, can we do this without the sound as well as extra silence? I always hear internal sounds, little tinnitus, yes, you can. I see here Loki's questions. Yes, you can do this without any soundtracks, but it's very easy to fall asleep without soundtracks, and it's just more difficult, really. So when you're starting with this, when you're learning this, before you get it to, if you when you get really good at this, okay, no more soundtracks. But I think in the beginning, don't make it difficult for yourself. Use the soundtracks. They're like training wheels. Like when you learn how to bicycle, you have these two wheels to keep you on the bicycle. It's kind of like that, and they're really really useful for it. Another question here: are there some live events for free? Yeah, this is a free live event, and there will also be other live events in the free. But of course, the most advanced, most valuable ones will be in the premium, and also in the premium, it will not be in this format. In the premium, it's a Zoom meeting where you will be also appearing on camera. So we have more like a face-to-face kind of situation. We're actually talking to each other. You will be able to speak to us, ask us questions. It's more like that. This is going to be more in this format in the free group where we do like a chat like this. What other questions over here? When you just wake up is the right state. So remember this. Anna is asking, when you just wake up, is it the right state? So remember this state. Well, no, yes and no. Like when you wake up, you could wake up right there and be in that perfect state, or you might wake up a bit too much. You might be up here. You might be anywhere on this range. So it's important to lay still and sort of relax and not try to move too much or get too awake, because you might get a bit too awake. So it's really about finding that sweet spot. And in the premium, we talk more about how to do so, and also we have these special techniques and soundtracks we use to get there as well. Okay, what other questions we have here? John Doe, will that session, I guess the bonus, also be unlocked for those that are already subscribed? For those that are already subscribed, you guys will be able to get that bonus when you reach, I think it's level 6 in the community. So if you comment, if you engage a lot in community and you get to level 6, maybe 7, but I think it's level 6, you can also access that. Okay. Let's see, another person. So I'll answer this one. So I keep waking up around 3 a.m. listening to the theta type track, but get nothing. So I will recommend you to go through coaching sessions with Ryan and have him help you with that. He'll give you all the instructions on how to get deeper and also how to evoke the vibrational state. Also, I recommend watching the velo technique session that I did this week as well. The recording of that will also have some answers in there for you. Another question. Anna Fair, what's an aura ring? So an aura ring is something that it's like a sleep tracker you put on your finger, and when you sleep at night, it will to track your sleep cycles. It will know when you are in REM sleep or when you are in deep sleep. Like, you'll kind of have that awareness, and you can use that to see when the best time is for you to do the practice, because you don't want to do the practice when you're normally in deep sleep. So if you see, like, they have this app, you can see this graph. You can see, okay, it looks like in between 10 and 4 at night, I am always very deep. Okay, so you know that that's not a good time to do the practice. Now you see that, oh, but then from 7 to 9, I am usually in REM sleep. Okay, so then you know that's the best time for you to actually do the practice. So that kind of stuff is really useful for the practice, as well as also being able to become a better sleeper, because sleep hygiene is going to impact this practice a lot. So it's important that you actually learn how to sleep better, like how to have a sleep schedule, how to sleep early, like all that kind of stuff. And the ring and the app helps you with that. Also monitors your pulse and your a bunch of other stuff. So it's a healthy thing to use for productivity and also for the practice. I get a question here. What about fasting versus overeating in terms of its affecting astral projection? Yeah, Stellar. Yeah, of course. Fasting is going to help with the practice, but it's not like you have to be fasting. You can just not eat before going to sleep, a big meal, because that's going to get you very tired. Just, you can eat like, 2 hours before you go to sleep, 3 hours before you go to sleep. We're definitely seeing that students that eat even earlier in the day, that fast, at night, they tend to have a lot of success with that. But personally, I don't like to go to sleep with my stomach empty. It's really annoying. So I still eat something at some point at night, and it has not been a problem for me. I have not seen a sort of an issue with that. But yes, you can tweak that, but it's not a thing that you want to experiment with. Like, that goes into that experimentation phase that I was talking about. Like, is it better to eat at 4 for me, or is it better to eat at 8? Like, what works best? How do you know? Well, you experiment. That's how you find out. And that's the thing with this practice. It's a lot of experiments that you're doing, and a lot of experience that you're doing that you're also tracking, not just doing them and then forget about them, because you're gonna forget what you tried. You're gonna do the same thing again, and then you're gonna forget that, and you're gonna be repeating a bunch of mistakes, and you're not gonna progress. And this is the same in any field. Everybody that wants to get better at anything, they track their progress. You hear this about athletes, professional athletes, everybody that's doing something very seriously. They always track things and always, analyze and optimize what they're doing, so they do things better and better. Any other questions? Someone that has not been answered yet. Is there any questions here? No? Okay. So it seems like everybody knows what to do. That's the impression I'm getting right now. So I hope to see you guys either in the Soul Guys free community or the Soul Guys premium. I will be, doing things in both. And so for those of you that are in the free, expect to see more of me there. And also Falcon Macamesis as well will be there on the 12th. We will be in both communities on the 12th. The only difference will be that in the premium, you will be able to also talk to him, talk to us. There will be an interaction. There will be you will be like on a Zoom session with us. But in the free, it will be more like this. You'll be able to watch it. So that's just to make it fair for everybody. And yeah, I'm very excited to be on this journey with everybody that's here right now and everybody's that's been watching this recording as well in the future. This is super important for us. Let's all help each other out. Let's support each other in the community. Let's share what's working and help each other have more beautiful astral projections so that we can just together really start to unpack this reality that we're in and just expand and grow together. I think this is the time for us to come together like that. This is the moment where we just have to start helping each other out and exploring this. And the thing is, we can do it on our own, and will get some information, and we'll be able to learn this and that. But I think together, sharing in the community what we're learning, and be able to help each other, I think is really powerful. And I'm just really looking forward to see more of you guys having success. I keep getting messages from students from the premium telling me that they were having success and that they had different experiences. And I just want to see more and more of that, and I just I want to be able to help everybody. I want to be able to help everybody in the free as well. But my time is, I'm still human, and I don't have enough time for everybody. And also, I need you guys to help me to be able to do this, because without your contribution in the premium, this cannot happen. We cannot work on this. We'll have to get normal jobs and just do normal things. The only way I can sit here and talk about this and create cool techniques and soundtracks and teach this is with your support. Like, you guys are the reason that this is still moving forward. And so I'm really looking forward to be serving you as much as I can. And I'm also looking forward to your support to make that a possibility. So with that said, thank you so much for joining today. May the force be with you. And I'm looking forward to see you on the next upcoming events that we're going to be doing. If you like this, please comment in the community, say something nice about it. And I'm looking forward to see you on the next one. Thank you.